Welcome to The Explainer. We often hear about doctors, but what does it actually take to make a great one? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one specific place, Khawaja Mohammed Safdar Medical College. We're going to see how they're shaping the future of medicine in Pakistan.
So, where do you even start with a place like this? Well, like with any great institution, it all begins with an idea, right? A vision. So let's dig into their core purpose, what they call their vision for healing.
And here it is, straight from the top, from the principal, Professor Dr. Huma Kayani Saigal. I want you to listen to these words: healing, discovery, and service. See? It's not just about cranking out people who can read a chart. It's about instilling a real sense of purpose, something much deeper.
Okay, so you have that big, inspiring vision. How does that translate into an actual mission? Well, here you go. The keywords here are nurturing and compassionate. It's about creating doctors who are incredibly skilled, for sure, but who also have heart. This mission, this is the why behind everything they do. All right, so you've got the vision, you've got the mission, but how do you go from words on paper to an actual physical college? We've got to look at the history because the story of how this place came to be is pretty fascinating. It's all about speed and finding its own identity.
And I mean, it happened fast. Think about it, founded in 2010. But the real game changer was in 2017 when they renamed it to honor Khawaja Mohammed Safdar, a really important figure from the Pakistan movement. That moment really cemented what this college was all about. And now, just over a decade later, boom! It's one of the leading public medical colleges in Punjab. That's incredible.
Okay, so we've got the why and the how it got here. But what about the what? I mean, how do they actually teach people to be doctors? What's the real engine running this whole operation?
Well, it all kind of boils down to a single number, really. 29. That's it. 29 distinct departments. This is the bedrock, the foundation of their entire academic system.
And if you look at this, you can basically see the entire roadmap for a future doctor. They start with the absolute fundamentals, right? The basic sciences, anatomy, physiology, that kind of stuff. It's like learning the alphabet. Then, once they have that down, they move on to the really complex stuff, the real-world clinical departments. We're talking everything from cardiology to neurosurgery, the whole shebang.
But here's something really important. It's not just about the doctors. Look at this. They've got programs for nursing, for paramedics, and even postgraduate studies. What they're really doing is building a whole healthcare ecosystem, an entire team, all under one roof.
And at the end of the day, a school is only as good as its teachers. And the faculty here, they're the real deal. We're talking specialists with PhDs from some of the best universities out there. So the students are learning from people who are absolute experts in their field.
Okay, so you've learned it all in the classroom, you've read the books, but that's only half the story, right? Now you have to actually do it. And that's where the teaching hospitals come in. This is where theory gets turned into actual, life-saving skill.
So the students here get their hands-on experience, their real-world training, at two big hospitals that are connected to the college. You've got Allama Iqbal Memorial Hospital and Sardar Begum Teaching Hospital.
Now, between those two hospitals, you're looking at 640 beds. Why does that number matter? Because it means students aren't just dipping their toes in the water. They are thrown right into a busy, high-stakes, real-world environment. This isn't a practice run. It's the real deal. It's the front line of healthcare. And you just can't beat that kind of training.
So you've gone through the whole system, the classes, the hospitals, all of it. What's the end product? What kind of person walks out of those doors with a degree? Let's talk about the graduate.
They call them KMSMCs. And trust me, that's not just a cute nickname. It's a brand. It means something. It's a shared identity that comes with a certain standard of excellence, one that's recognized all over the world, whether they're practicing at home in Pakistan or halfway across the globe.
So what does it actually mean to be a KMSMC? Well, it boils down to these four things. It's not enough to just be good with a scalpel. They expect you to understand the health of the whole community, to be a true professional, and maybe most importantly, to never, ever stop learning because medicine is always changing.
All right, let's pull back for a second. We've been deep in the details of one college, but what does all this mean for the big picture, for the future of healthcare in Pakistan and even beyond?
This quote the college uses really says it all, doesn't it? It's not about stuffing your head with facts. Anyone can do that. The real magic, the real value, is training your mind to think. It's about producing doctors who are problem solvers, not just walking textbooks.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As we look ahead with all the crazy medical breakthroughs and new challenges popping up, what's the one skill that tomorrow's healers are going to need most? You have to wonder, and maybe, just maybe, the philosophy here at KMSMC has it right. Maybe it's not a specific procedure or drug, but simply the ability to learn, to adapt, and to think on your feet. Maybe that's what truly matters.